All right, Destination Success. We're talking about that today, how to get there faster. But it is Wednesday, and you know the number one question that I hardly ever ask, but everybody talks about being the most important question they use, if and when Scott reminds you, is, what can I do? And if you're going to hear it, you're going to hear it on a Wednesday, because I try to remind myself to remind you of it. Anything that comes your way today on your destination for success, just ask that question. What can I do? And watch what happens. It is a daily boost from motivationtomove.com, the positive boost you need every single day, because life is going to get in the way and we don't care. We're going to get what we want anyway. Stand up, take a step, repeat, make it happen. Just keep on going until things go the way you want them to go. And that's really kind of what it's all about. Just stay in the game until you get what you want, right? No doubt about that. How are you? My name is Scott Smith, founder, chief motivating officer here at motivationtomove.com. Happy to have you here today as we go through a few things. By the way, did want to let you know, as I get ready to go off on vacation here for a couple of weeks up to Banner Elk, North Carolina, and later in the year out to Breckenridge. I think that's where we're going to stay this year, later in the summertime, and go out there. As I get ready to go do that, I'm coming back probably in mid-August with some training for you. Now, I'm not going to say a whole lot more than that, but I will say this. The last major training I put together was Face Your Passion. That was 12 years ago. And I've just been busy doing my podcast, doing coaching, because I do what I do. I just do what I do every single day. And along the way, I've learned a few things and had a lot of impact with a lot of people. But what I don't do regularly is sit down and turn it into something that you can do when you have the time to do it. I don't create that kind of stuff. It's coming. So hang on. I'll tell you more as the summer gets on a little bit. I think you're going to be very excited about what I have in mind. And no, I'm not going to tell you. I usually spill my popcorn in the lobby and I give it away, and I'm not going to do it this time. That's just how it is going to be. Okay. Let's talk about your success. So in the past couple of days, couple of weeks, you've probably heard me say change is one of those things that is going to happen. It is going to happen. Now, some change happens instantaneous. You can't stop change. In fact, it has been said, I think Winston Churchill said it. I've said that a couple times myself. It's the only constant you can count on in life. You just know things are going to change. It's like being a weatherman. Why can't you get it right? Why can't you tell us what the weather's going to be? I don't know. It keeps changing on me. It just happens. Although AI is going to fix that. Weathermen are going to be out of business once AI kicks in. It's just happening. But for most people, change could be instantaneous. In fact, wait a second. All change is instantaneous. It may happen over time. It may move in that direction. But when you finally see the change happen, it's instant. That's the thing about life. The trick is the click. The click is that millisecond in time when you go, oh, got it. I'm out of here. I'm in here, whatever. So no matter how long you've been focusing on change, or change has been focusing on you, eventually it will just happen and you'll just be someplace else. Sometimes you have no choice, do you? So if you've been thinking about tweaking your life and trying to get the success you want, whatever success means to you, whatever that destination is, I have a couple suggestions to get you started to help you along the way. Number one, no matter what dreams you hold, I want you to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, I can't help you. I will tell you, I work with a lot of coaching clients and I know something's wrong. I just know it. I never actually think there's something wrong. It's like, what am I missing here? And I often don't even think that. But about 9 months later, I find out that they're having an affair or they're drinking too much or something. Something comes out of it. I'm like, okay, there it is. Boom. They weren't being honest with me and they're not being honest with themselves. Trying to fix it without fixing it, if you will. So if you have a goal, a dream you want to accomplish, the very first thing is to inventory the good stuff you have in your life. When I say inventory, you want to audit it. Treat your life and everything you have going on in your life as like treat it like going to a financial planner who says, okay, let's audit what you have. Let's see what you got. Treat it that way. Because in your life, you have assets and you have liabilities, don't you? The assets are good stuff in your life. The stuff you're good at doing, the stuff you like having, the stuff that's good for you, the whole thing. You also have the bad stuff in your life. The bad investments, if you will. The ugly relationships. Icky stuff. But until you stop and look at it, I'm talking every single aspect of it. Get out a spreadsheet if you need to. Every single thing you do, good, bad, whatever, it doesn't matter. Inventory it. Why? Because you can't move forward if you don't know where you're starting. And if you don't inventory everything and look at it, you have no idea where you're starting. Treat yourself like a forensic personal development coach. Go into it and figure out all these little things you don't want to talk about, all these things you're hiding, you don't want to admit, they've been going on forever. It's like, oh, go look at it, write it down. How do you do it? Get a piece of paper, get a spreadsheet. I don't care. It'll take you a day or two probably. Get it down. Don't share it with anybody. Don't be afraid. That information is power. Right now it's overwhelming. It's information overload. When you go through an inventory, it becomes adequate information, which is what the Stoics like to talk about. You can look at it and you'll start to see the path. That destination to success is hidden within the stuff you're in your life right now. Number 2, decide what you want to do and paint a picture of life after that journey. Now, what that means is now that you know the ick in your life and the good stuff in your life, say, okay, well, I got some good stuff. What do I do with it? And what's the dream I really have? And what's the goal I really have? And if I could, I mean, I know I can't because I got responsibilities. I don't make enough money. I don't have any freedom. I can't do anything. They won't let me. But no, if you could, and you can, right? If you could, what would you do? What would it look like when you got there? You might have to make it up. You might have to lie a little bit. It might feel like a little bit of a fantasy. Scott, there's a fantasy. I wrote it down. But you said that's what you wanted to do, right? Yeah. If I could, I would do this. But it feels not real. I know it's not real yet. It's a fantasy. Huh? Yeah. It just popped out of your brain. That means, listen, if it came out of your brain, it must mean something, right? If your mind popped this out and you put it on a piece of paper, where do you think that came from? It's got to have some value, right? May as well accept it. Scott logic right there. Pow. So we're going to take an inventory and then we're going to say, okay, what do I want? After this journey's over, once I go down this road, this path, 5, 10 years, a year, whatever, what's it going to be? Because knowing your destination before you begin is how you get there. In fact, I have gone out on walkabouts, or what I call talkabouts, going to meet some people, with no destination in mind. Scott, you just said you have to have a destination. Okay, I lied, totally lied. I have gone out, literally crossing the country, flying around the world, doing things with no destination in mind, having fun, doing what I'm going to do. Scott, you can't do that without your destination. I had a destination. To eventually go home. Once I go out and I figure stuff out, I want to arrive home smarter, a different person. Well, I had a destination. Done it a number of times until I got to Australia and back. Number 3, now that you've kind of laid this foundation, you kind of looked at your inventory, you know what's going on, you know what it's supposed to be after you get done, even though you have no idea how the hell you're going to get there. It's time to understand why you want it so bad. So doing the steps before that have kind of built the desire and the excitement. When that happens, it's time to lock in your why and get moving. Wait a second, Scott, Simon Sinek and all these other people say start with your why. It begins with why. Not really. It kind of begins with a who. If you listen to Dan Sullivan, that's the who you're going to be working with. But it doesn't start with the why, because if I don't know what I'm going to do, why the hell does it matter? I need to know. In fact, I will promise you right now that almost if I ask anybody what they want to do in their life, they'll tell me. If I say why, they'll say because I want to feel good about myself. Okay, what do you do to feel good about yourself? I don't know. So if you don't have the what, you have nothing. And my guess is right now, if I pay attention to you, if I listen to you closely, if I beg and plead you, if I give you a treat, your favorite treat in the world, you will admit to me what it is you really want to do. Not with the whole picture of life, that included too, though, but all the small pieces in between. You know what it is. When you know what it is, I have another exciting thing for you. That unstoppable why is almost automatic. It's no rocket science. When you find that thing inside your heart that drives you, the why just kind of appears. And chase the why for chasing the why, sometimes you don't know how to get there. So take an inventory, figure out what you got, good and bad. Decide what you want at the end of your journey, and then begin to work on why, because that's the driver behind everything. Scott, why do you put premium gas in your Harley Davidson? Because it runs better on it. That's why. I know my why. You can't get me to put the other gas in it. You just can't. All right. Know where you are, what you're going to create, why you'll achieve that goal. Be realistic, be grounded in your thinking, make anything possible. It's not unicorn and rainbows. It really, truly is kind of simple. It's like business is kind of boring. When you know a business model, just do it. It's like a franchise. Don't fight the franchise. Just do what the franchise says. In life, everything's already been figured out. Don't fight it. Just do it. It'll work. All right. I'll see you at Facebook, dailyboostpodcast.com/Facebook. Premium members, thank you. You're my favorite people in the world. You know that, right? And if you want to be one of my favorites in the world, become one. Go to dailyboostpremium.com. Get signed up. Check it out there. It'll tell you all about it.